Steve, hi, Jim Delapine here. I apologize for not getting back to you sooner. I'm still getting used to this interface and I just did not see that you had posted. So, in any event, I'm not going to mark you late for that because it wouldn't be fair to you. But I want to give you a demo on addressing some of your concerns. You had mentioned that JPEG artifacts were seen and you wound up using the eraser tool. So just know that with regards to non-destructive editing, by painting with black on a layer mask, you are able to get rid of any of those JPEG artifacts that you saw. So, you wouldn't really be using the eraser tool. You'd be uh, using the paintbrush tool with black. Okay, so this you did a really good job on all of the layer masks, and I want to give you a few hints here with regards to what you've done here. You did a lot of work here. I see that, and let's look at this first. I want to look at this telephone cord here or the car charger. And let me isolate that by alt-clicking on the visibility icon and then disabling the layer masks. I see that. Okay, you've got that. So, um, pardon me. All right. So it looks like you. Um, hmm. Okay, let me just undo that again and enable that. So you've been working hard on this. It looks like you kind of trying to make this look like it's wrapped around this cord here. And it looks fairly convincing. So let's take this a step further. And this doesn't, the angle is almost there, but it's not correct. It's not perfect. But let me just give you a little tip here. If you hit control, let's see, with this mask active, all right, if you go to edit, transform, and then let's see, just not distort, edit, transform, warp. Okay, you're going to get this grid box. All right, and that allows you to distort this. So you have different ways of doing that. I don't know if you're familiar with the pen tool in Illustrator or the Bezier curve with regards to handles, but you see these little dots here. These are handles. So if I click and drag, you're pulling this out. So you're kind of distorting this. So you can like pull this down, for example, and start to pull these in different directions and try to get a better match. I'm trying to center this cord through the telephone cord. Okay, it's not going to be perfect. There's areas where it just doesn't fit or mesh together. So, but you can fake it. I mean, this looks really good, But I just wanted to show you this as an option here. So I'm now going to hit enter to apply that transformation. Now let's zoom in and try to make this look like it's wrapped around this cord a little more convincingly. So to do that, this really should be a little wider, but let's fake it. Okay, so if you select the layer mask, that allows us to mask out part of this phone cord image to make it look like it's wrapped around this uh, beige cord. So if I go to my paintbrush, all right, make sure that, one second here, what's going on here? Ah, I see, my panel was hiding that. So make sure that you're at 100% hardness, okay? And then you can increase or decrease your brush size quickly by using the left or right bracket key. Okay, so I'm going to get a relatively small one. Zoom into this first area. So if this is wrapping around this cord, you would not see this part right here. That would fall behind the cord. So knowing that black is will mask out that area, okay? What I'm now going to do is create like a rule for myself, or well, a selection that will help me with this. So I'm going to control or command click on the layer mask for the power strip cord, okay? And that is going to create a selection. So I'll use that kind of as a guide, knowing that this area here will wrap around. So again, with the car charger layer mask active, I'm going to click here and here, and then shift click. I'm holding the shift key down to look something like that. So you see what I mean? See how that works? All right, so now this part here, I would click and drag, and then kind of click here and shift click here. Okay, so you can see how that can work. All right, so just be aware of how you can make that look better. All right, so here I would say, I mean, it gets a little tricky up here, of course, but you can always kind of fake it. You can do something like this. Whoops. Click and shift click. So that selection is protecting my paintbrush from going outside that area. Okay, so you can see how you can, start to make this work. And, okay, so I'll stop there with that. All right. With regards to JPEG artifacts, notice how the game controller, let me deselect, has white edging. Now again, you have a gradient in the background, so that's going to be replaced with a background next week. But to get rid of that edging, I'll show you a little trick here. With that layer active here, I'm going to select the image portion, not the layer mask, the image portion. And then I'm going to go to my paintbrush tool. I'm going to now, actually, with the paintbrush tool active, I'm going to hold down my Alt or Option key and sample this color here. Right? I want to get something adjacent to this because I'm going to paint along this edging here. So I want to paint it with an appropriate color. So this will kind of get rid of this glow. All right, and now I'm going to put the paintbrush into darken mode. All right, so it's going to essentially darken the pixels using this foreground color that I sampled. So now I will click and drag along that edge. All right, it's a little close. Let me undo that. I may want to go a little bit lighter. All right, so I selected the foreground color, brings up the color picker, maybe a little bit lighter. This is not as effective as if using color. If you were doing it with color, it would kind of get rid of that. So you know what? I don't even like that end result. Yeah, that's not working for me. All right, but up here, there's a very defined glow here, defined edge. So again, I'm going to Alt-click on a color adjacent to that, which is it's almost black. And then I'll do the same thing along here. So if I click and drag, I'm darkening those pixels. Okay. So that's here. It actually doesn't bother me too much. It's kind of a natural glow almost. But along this edging here, that looks like a defined area. That it actually looks like an outline. So again, this is the other one. So I'd have to just click on this one. Note that I'm in the Move tool as long as the auto check is selected. As soon as I click on something, it's going to jump to that layer. Okay? So with this layer active, I'm going to again make sure the image part is selected. Go to my paintbrush tool and I will click. Actually, I don't even have to click and drag. I just paint the light right along this edging here, and it's going to darken those pixels. So that looks a lot more effective. All right, so that little bit is effective. So now let's look at how to create a shadow. Let's make this, I don't know what this is. This element here, this is, well, you call it a DS. Let's throw a shadow onto the surge protector. Okay, so that's there. So with the surge protector active, I'm going to create a new layer on top of that. Okay. Then I'm going to click on the power strip layer mask to create a selection. Okay. So that selection is active. Now what I'll do is click on the foreground color and I'm going to I want to get a gray, a medium to dark gray. Okay. So I would select that, hit OK. That's my new foreground color. Now I'll go to my paintbrush tool, and now I'm going to create a paintbrush that is, I don't know, maybe 25% hardness. Okay, I want to kind of get a soft edge brush, and I'll increase my brush size by hitting the right bracket key. And now what I'll do is I'll paint along this edge here, right, and then come down like that. Okay, so it looks, essentially I'm painting with gray on top of that, but now I'm going to put that layer into multiply mode. Okay, so that's a true shadow. Now it actually does not look as effective because it's kind of blending in with the gray of this headphone top. So, but you can continue to click, drag, and you may want to get a larger brush and maybe get a softer edge, 0% hardness, to get more of a softer edge to the shadow. Okay. All right. So So if you go too far, you can always delete some of it or create a layer mask for that layer, okay? And then paint with black to eliminate some of it, okay? So let's just say I went too far. I want to uh, click here and then shift click along here, that kind of thing. All right, so I don't know how effective that is. Actually, that should be a straight. This is a straight edge, and this top here is straight. So, whoops. So I will paint with gray on the image portion, and I'll click and shift click, and let me delete the layer. Let me apply the layer mask now, and now I will click and shift click here. Clicking and shift clicking creates a straight line straight across. All right, so that looks a little more effective. All right, so you get the idea. Plus, this is on its own layer, so you have control. You can even lighten the opacity of that layer if you feel it's too strong. Okay, so that's, I think, more effective. All right, I'm going to stop there. I hope that helped. And, just do that for M4 T2, and you'll be good. All right? All right, thanks. Bye.